Hello and welcome back everybody. In this special edition, the best anomalies I've discovered on Mars thus far. The first one we're looking at is this huge pyramid near Elysium Planitia, and we can see 4 of the sides still intact. The capstone at the apex seems to be missing. We've got a flat smooth surface right there, and the length of each of these sides at the base is about 2 kilometers. So we're looking at a massive pyramid, folks. It seems to be covered in sand and potentially sediment from a flood that covered this area in the distant past. And we can compare this pyramid to the Great Pyramid of Giza. Also got the apex right there where the capstone is missing, and then also the Pyramid of the Sun in Teotihuacan. We've got this strange smaller pyramid here with the stairs to the bottom left, very similar to what we see here in this structure. Then we're looking at this strange pyramidal structure right there. The sides of this is about 1 kilometer in length, and we've also got a weird part right there to the top, also reminiscent of the Pyramid of the Sun. Looks like this has been either eroded away or maybe it was damaged somehow. Look at that circular depression right there in the center. This is rather weird. Definitely doesn't look natural as well, folks. In the journal published by George J. Haas of the Cydonia Institute, he says that Dr. John Brandenburg has added this site to his dead civilization hypothesis, which presents strong evidence for a widespread dead humanoid civilization on Mars. Right, then we're looking at this strange square structure there, folks. Each side of that is about 400 meters in length. And we've got a symmetrical geometric square shape there. Doesn't look like anything in this terrain. You can see it's got straight edges to it and virtually the same angle on each side. So is this a destroyed pyramid, or was this one under construction? Check out this one, nothing like it in this JP2, and the length of this over here is about 45 to 50 meters. So we're looking at another huge triangular object there. If we take a close-up look, we can see it's got a uniform thickness to it, and it looks like there's another triangle over there and over here to the right, but these have been eroded away. So what are we looking at here? It's got a very smooth flat surface to it, straight edges, rather symmetrical as well. Another triangular structure, and the base over here is about 100 meters long. It's very symmetrical as well, and the sides over here are heavily eroded. We're looking at this one, which is about 80 meters in length here at the base, and on the side here it seems to have some type of sculpted or carved image. Don't know what that is, but also seems to be eroded here at the edges. There it is up close. Check out the symmetry in this structure as well. I found these blocks in Elysium Planitia near the InSight lander, and you can see those blocks are still tightly packed next to one another. This one over here to the left, same shape and size as this one over here to the right, and each of those blocks is about 10 by 10 meters in size. And on top of these we've got that smaller triangular block there with a knob or protrusion right there, folks. Also in the same photograph we've got two more blocks. This one over here looks almost as if it could have been a supporting column. Check out the smooth flat sides there, 90-degree angles. This is about 8 meters long and about 4 meters wide, and we've got another square block next to it. And I compare those to the Awara pyramid and the inner core limestone blocks that were part of the external veneer. This block is also in the same JP2, and this is about 8 by 8 meters there on this one side. You can see a 90-degree angle there as well, folks. And then this strange structure not far from those. This is about 12 by 15 meters in size. Looks like a rectangular structure with this part over here on top slightly hollowed out, but look at the geometry and symmetry of this. Right, then we're looking at this L-shaped piece over there, which is about 10 by 12 meters in size, and it's in the same JP2. Got a 90-degree angle there, and this looks like could be an opening, and then across the side over here we've got a 45-degree angle. My friend and I call this the Arch of Kanowski, which we speculate is on top of a huge pyramid in Kanowski, a circular depression on Mars. Each of the sides there is about 20 meters in length, and you can see it's got like a triangular shape to it, and in the center it appears a smaller triangle was cut out there. Look at the shape over here and that arc over there. This piece looks as if it toppled over and broke into smaller pieces. Also, it looks as if this part was machined, and this is what makes us speculate this could be a pyramid. Look at these parallel rows of tiles or smaller blocks next to one another. Utter devastation, of course, as always. And there's a close-up look. Check out the tiles. It looks like the external veneer is still visible over there. And then on top of that pyramid we've also got strange geometric alignments. Check out this object over here. It's about 20 meters long, and it consists of two similar rectangular parts next to one another. Right there in the center we've got the smaller part, and what's really intriguing about this is that row of smaller blocks placed there in a row next to it. We've got 3 next to this one and another 3 next to that one. Then also close to the pyramid we've got this strange structure, which is about 20 meters long, and it's got 2 long narrow pieces there on either side of this round disc shaped object, and in front of it the smaller triangular part. This triangular depression seems to have been carved out of the surface. Check out the symmetry and geometry going on here as well. 2 similar angles there, uniform depth running across the bottom, and this part over here to the right seems to have caved in or eroded away. And we're looking at strange obelisk type anomalies. This one over here is about 12 meters long, and if we take a close-up look you can see it's got 2 flat sides, and it's got a triangle there at the apex. very similar to those that we find in Egypt. Two more wedge-shaped objects. This one over here is about 12 meters long and about 5 meters wide. And there's another wedge shape there next to it. But check out the strange design to this piece. There's another obelisk type anomaly. This one's also about 12 meters long and comes up to an apex as well. Two flat sides over there. This structure, very similar to Stonehenge, is very close to the Kanowski pyramid, and we're looking at a circular design. Check out the similarity. This is from Stonehenge, and then the circular design with the placement of those next to one another, equal distance between them. This object over here is about 12 to 14 meters long, and I compare it to scarab beetle stone carvings that you find in the British Museum and at the Karnak Temple complex. You've got a round part in front, the strange nose over there, and then the body at the back, and this over here looks like a leg. And there it is close up, folks. This thing's got a strange design to it. Doesn't look like any of the other boulders and rocks in the immediate vicinity. And then the Eye of Horus, as I call it, it's got this eyebrow, two eyelids, and what looks like a pupil over there. And this is about 500 meters long. Let's have a close-up look. You can see the eyebrow, the eyelids, and the pupil. And this is from a pendant, ancient Egyptian sky god. If we take a look at the structure itself, it seems to be slightly elevated off the surface there. Even looks like a boat with oars sticking out there. Who knows what this is? We've got straight edges there, this oval object on the top. So could this have been runoff from the circular depression, or is it a carved, sculpted piece? And then we're looking at this object over there, which looks very similar to an Egyptian ankh, and that piece there is about 12 to 14 meters long. We've got a circular part there, same as over here, and then the cross at the bottom. And there it is close up. Check that out, folks. This type of layout is also very common on Mars. We've got two circular parts next to one another. They're separated with a straight line, and then there's a smaller part in the center that bridges that gap. This over here is about, let's see, 12 meters long, and up close we can see the two larger parts next to one another. There's a straight groove running through there, and then the smaller part in the center. There's another one over here, two larger parts, and right there in its center, that smaller part there bridges that groove or gap over there. This piece here is about 12 meters wide as well. Check that out. And these are very similar to an object that was found in Nabta Playa, Egypt. And we're looking at a similar object over there. This one's rather strange. Looks like a piece of wreckage, maybe even a piece of machinery, some type of tech. Who knows what that is? But that piece there is about 14 meters long. You Look at the straight side, another parallel bevel over there, and then a smaller dome-like part that seems to be connected to it. This object over here has got the same shape as the old Victorian handheld mirrors. There's the disc, the strange narrow piece sticking off there to the side, and that disc over there is about 200 meters in diameter. Take a close-up look. It's definitely elevated off the surface. Look at the shadow there. Looks almost like the Starship Enterprise without the nacelles. Then we're looking at one of two objects of the same size and shape. This is about 12 meters across, and it's got a disc at the bottom and a dome-like part at the top, and it looks like it crashed over here into the surface. And there's a similar one. My friend Saturn Arc found this one, also the same size, and it's also got a disc and this flattened dome on the top, and there the two are for comparison. And this is an illustration I did of what I think those look like. So could those be some type of craft? This classic disc and dome over there is about 12 meters in diameter, and we can see the disc at the bottom and the dome right there in the center. Of course, it's covered in sand and dust as well. This object over here reminds me of the Baltic Sea anomaly, with the disc-like part there and two long narrow pieces next to one another on the one side. This disc over here is about 10 or so meters in diameter. There's a depiction of the Baltic Sea anomaly, and you can see, folks, it's got a very similar design and shape to it. And there's a close-up view. Look at the straight edges and right angle over here. You can barely make it out, folks, but check out the triangular object over there. It's about 20 meters wide, and let's take a close-up look. Got two straight sides there, and these three parts over here to the back. Looks almost like a flying wing design. The elevators over here at the back. This object over here is about 20 meters in length, and I compare it to the Quimbaya jet jewelry that was discovered in South America. We've got the same delta design and then a tail section at the back, and it's also got an ornate design on the top, and there it is close up. Definitely elevated off the surface. So could that have been a craft, or is it some other weird sculpted piece? This dome-shaped object over there is about 12 meters long, and it's got a strange skirt running around the edge. Definitely a convex shape, and then over here you can see some rocks and boulders underneath it. So this is definitely a structured item. Nothing else like it on Mars, guys, that I've discovered yet. And this strange piece over here, that's about 12 meters long as well, and it's also got a dome shape to it and two rounded edges there. Also over here, there seems to be part of that object. Don't know what that is. This structure over there is about 12 meters wide, and it's got a triangular opening there. From the shadow that's being cast, this is definitely hollow inside there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides to it. We'll be looking at hexagonal designs now. This piece over here has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides still visible, and each side over there is about 8 meters in length. Check that out. Perfect symmetry and geometry going on there. And there's another part similar to it. Each side over there is about 10 meters in length. If we take a close-up look, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. The rest is covered in sand and dust. It's also got symmetry and geometry in that shape. There's another one similar to it. Each side over there is about 10 meters long. We can see 1, 2, 3, 4 sides still visible. Look at the indentation there, as well as over here. And there they are for you to compare. What are the chances of these designs occurring in nature? And there's a similar one over here. This piece over here is about 18 meters across. It looks almost like a tombstone. 2 parallel sides over there. Not that it is a tombstone, but it's got that shape to it. There's a 5-sided object. Each side there's about 6 meters in length, and more symmetry and geometry in those angles. The shape of this base structure is also quite interesting. If we take a close-up look, we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. The length of each side is about 6 meters in length, and on top of it, right there in its center, we've got this protrusion. This disc shape over here has got a diameter of about 20 meters, and it consists of 2 quarters next to one another. Each one's got a protrusion or knob on it. But look at the symmetry and geometry over here. Perfect rounded edges, and then equal angles over here, perpendicular to that groove over there. Here we're looking at a disc that has a diameter of 12 meters, and it seems to be lying up against some boulders there. And look at the perfect arc to it as well. Very smooth, bright surface. And there's a disc similar to it. This one seems to be embedded in the surface, and that half over there is sticking out. It's about 10 meters across. Look at that. Another perfect arc to that disc over there. And there the two are for comparison. This object has a width of about 8 meters, and on top of it, right there in its center, we've got this dark sphere or dome. Running through the center, perpendicular to it, we've got that rounded part over there. With this one, folks, if you don't look closely, you'll miss it. We've got a small object over there on top of this square base underneath it. The base over there is about 12 meters in length, and if we take a close-up look, we can see it looks as if it's been cleaned out. Each side is about the same length, and on top of it, this looks like a little craft with a disc shape to it, a dome on top, And then these look like two, for lack of a better term, wings on the sides. So could that be a craft that's parked over there in a custom cleaned out pad underneath it? This object over there is about 5 meters in diameter, and it's also got a disc shape to it. Through the center we've got that rectangular part over there, and it's on the edge of what looks like wreckage. Don't know what that is. It looks like it's slightly elevated off the surface as well. So what geological process produces these objects? We're looking at what looks like the top of a container with something sticking out of it there. The side over here is about 8 meters long, and we've got something sticking out of it there with the 90-degree angle. This object over there also seems to have a rectangular opening there, and that whole piece there is about 15 meters long. But check this out. It looks like this is an opening with a smaller part sticking out there. Also on top of it we've got a rather strange structure as well. Two flat sides, and then this here seems to be hollowed out slightly. And there the two are for comparison. One of a couple of these coming up. Look at the rectangular shape there with this triangle off the one side. That piece there is about 15 meters long. You see straight edges, right angle, and then the triangle seems to be part of this larger part. There's another one like it. This one's about 15 meters long as well. Another rectangular part with a triangle on one side. This one's got a protrusion or knob over there on the surface. We're looking at something similar there. Another rectangular part with this piece sticking off on the one side, and it's got a protrusion or knob there on the center of that there. This piece is about 10 meters long. And check out the angles to that. This rectangular part is about 50 meters long, and up close you can see straight edges, right angle there. And there they are. These two are very, very similar in shape and design. They remind me of the huge megalithic blocks in the ruins of Cusco, Peru. Check out the part over there, very similar to this one. There's another look at the blocks. They seem to be shaped to fit together, just like these on Mars. And we're looking at rows of megalithic blocks. Check these out. We're zooming in on these down here. This rectangular block there is about 12 meters long. Look at the two rows, and they seem to be shaped to fit together. These are moved apart slightly. And we're looking at those. These are in the same photograph. That block there, for example, is about 12 by 5 meters in size. And those two have protrusions or knobs on them, very similar to those that we find in South America. And they're tightly packed together in rows as well. These are still from the same photograph. That block there is about 12 meters long, and we've got two of them next to one another, and next to each we've got two smaller blocks. So we've got some geometry going on there as well, folks. And these slabs or blocks have been packed in a circular pattern around this larger part there, and this has a diameter of about 20 meters across. Check that out. These are also shaped to fit next to one another, and they're packed around this part over there. And here's another example of parts that fit together. This one over here is about 14 meters across, and it's got a small block next to it that there's about 6 meters on each side, and it seems to fit into this opening with these straight edges and right angle. And these three protrusions or knobs are arranged in a triangular pattern. And if you've watched my previous videos, you'll see that this shape is very commonplace on Mars as well. Arrangement of three parts in triangles. And then we'll be looking at weird dome-like structures. This is not to scale, and there it is up close. You can see this dome. NASA calls this a mound inside a crater, and this dome is about 80 to 100 meters in diameter, covered in sand, dust or sediment. The dome right there in the center of this circular depression is about 80 to 100 meters across. But check that out. The shape of this depression is uncanny. It's a perfect circle. Check that out. In my opinion, this is artificial. Maybe these are inside these depressions for protection, who knows. Very similar to those that we find in the craters on the moon. There's another circular depression, and that dome is also about 100 meters in diameter. Check that out. Also looks artificial. Are they trying to hide these, or is it for protection against sunlight or radiation? And there they are for you to compare. Look at the pattern. I don't think these are natural, guys, especially this one. Check that out. These are very similar to the Amundsen-Scott dome in Antarctica, which is about 50 meters wide. It's also inside a depression. This object is about 20 meters long. It's located on the North Pole of Mars. I call it the Thing because I don't know what this is. It looks almost like a slug. From the shadows that are being cast, it's difficult to tell if this is a structure on top of the surface or if this is a hollowed out depression. It's weird. This spherical object is about 20 meters across, and it's got this strange shield or part mounted to the side. It looks almost like a wrecking ball with these triangles sticking out of it. It reminds me a lot of the globe-like sculpture at the University of Richmond, with these parts mounted to the globe. Definitely looks as if this is a separate part that is mounted there to the side. This surface feature is rather strange as well. We've got two circular depressions, a diameter of about 6 meters there, And then in the center we've got a little triangular depression. Now let's take a close-up look and see the two circular depressions with the spacing between those and the spacing between those two smaller depressions there. And this is a right angle over there, folks. And the placement of those smaller parts on that slab is very similar. We've got 3 parts in a row coming off the perpendicular. We've got smaller parts as well. Also looks like a triangle in the center. Check out the spacing between those. One can only speculate what might be going on here. Is this a depiction of a star constellation? Right, the following anomalies are rather strange as well. We've got placement of smaller megalithic blocks in patterns as well. There we've got 4 arranged in a square. Check that out. Look at the equal spacing between those. And to keep the video short, I'm showing you these close-ups from the same JP2. We've got more blocks arranged in square patterns. And then we're looking at the placement of boulders in geometric patterns. These remind me of cairn that we find here on Earth. Get the tight pattern over there. And these are from the same JP2. The same pattern seems to be repeated. And then another pattern from the same JP2. We've got alignment of boulders or megaliths in rows. And these are from the same photograph. That's it for this special edition, guys and girls. Thank you for watching. I hope you liked it. Do take care. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye for now.